What's up? It's your boy Carcino, and let's get into it. I could easily tell y'all a couple of stories about that. Um, as far as the Naughty by Nature and Tretch situation with basically every rapper in Chicago. At that time, we're talking about 92. So, and I'll tell you where this all stemmed from. In 1992, there was a basketball game, a celebrity basketball game. And don't nobody know this story, so you can't Google it and find it nowhere. But there was a basketball game held by Kenny Anderson and Kendall Gill and Nick Anderson. Because they both played on the University of Illinois, the only team that really did anything, that went to the Final Four, and they both made it to the league. So everybody was very proud of them, and they had this charity foundation called the Boys in the Hood Foundation. And on the promotional flyer, it had all these special people, special appearance, rappers and entertainers that was going to be hosting the event. They had Shaq supposed to be there, Scottie Pippen, all these NBA players, and all these entertainers like Flex. They were the hosts. Bill Bellamy and Flex were the hosts. Who else they had there? Run DMC. They had a host of people there. And it was going to be a basketball game, then a concert after. Now, when the situation hit the fan, meaning that once they realized that, hey, this is going to take off and get big, they should have gotten the NBA involved. Whoever put the event together didn't know to get the NBA involved. So you got Naughty by Nature and them. They didn't even show up. But it was a female rapper who performed. And she was from New York. And she was attached to Tretch now. Like really cool with Tretch and them. And when she was getting ready to perform and all this stuff, what she didn't know was that before she showed up, Kendall Gill came out and talked to the public and told everybody, like, we're sorry, but the NBA players won't be allowed to play in this game. So everybody got pissed, boo, and he's like, look, there's no refund because all the money goes to charity. So, we still gonna give you a great show even without it. And then this guy screaming, I can't want to see Shaq. It's just, it was a bad thing. And you got all these NBA players that showed up and they're in their suits. And it's like, see, these guys showed up, man. They came, they were here to play, and the NBA told them they couldn't play. But some of the players they had on the list did not show up. Like Shaq didn't show up at all. But these guys were there and they came to play. And the NBA was going to send a scout to the event just to make sure that they didn't play. Because it was not licensed or authorized by the NBA to allow that to happen. So, all these guys are sitting there, so the actors and entertainers are playing in the game. Kendall Gill and Nick Anderson weren't allowed to even play in their own game. So you got Run DMC and them, they're playing this basketball game. And after the game's over, they go into the concert. And people are booing. They are still mad about what happened. So the rap goes off, right? And they start booing her. So she was like, oh, y'all finna boo me? Uh-oh. Alright, forget that. Because she had some pop hit out. And then she just came rugged style. Like, oh, like from the streets. Everybody was feeling it. Then they just started booing on top of that. And I'm like, oh, this is terrible. This is just terrible. Like, how could they even, like, boo? It's like, there's nothing that the athletes or the entertainers can do to booing for. Understand y'all mad because y'all couldn't get what y'all wanted, but it ain't their fault. Nevertheless, after this was done and Tresh heard about it, and he was like, man, he did an interview in the back, and he was like, man, F them Chicago dudes, man. Them niggas think they can rap, man, these niggas can't rap. And this nigga Twista trying to bite my style, you know, and he put it actually in a verse so he could twist his ass back to Chicago. And all the MCs that was on the tour when Naughty by Nature was touring, and they heard about the incident. And he did that interview, and he said that all these other opening act artists who were from Chicago, like dedicated to the streets, and what was the Illinois, the B-Nuts, all these guys that was there, they took offense to Treach. Basically, it wasn't even Naughty by Nature. It was just Treach. They knew exactly who they didn't like. And it had became a situation where Illtown, which is in Chicago, and you call yourself Illtown Music, and it was just a bad situation. And they tried to book a show to come back to Chicago. And the manager said, whoa, what y'all doing? He's like, oh, we trying to book a show here. He's like, no, I can't have y'all here. He was like, why not? He's like, bruh, if I have y'all here and I book y'all here, dog, y'all gonna get killed under my watch? Can't do that. And they had the hottest song out. Hip Hop Hooray! Ho! He was like, man, we got the hottest song. He's like, brother, I can't risk it. Y'all can't get killed under my production. Because he was like, dude, there's people waiting for y'all to come to Chicago. They waiting for you to come to Indiana. They waiting for you to come to Milwaukee. They waiting. So that's when they knew, man, this is real. We can get killed. And it fizzled out because Naughty by Nature eventually just fizzled out. To the point where nobody cared. Like Naughty by Nature or what have you. But they were very careful about any move that they made. That they just did a peace treaty, I think about a year ago, if I'm not mistaken, with the Traxxter and everybody else. And they were sitting back there talking about the beef, and it's funny because the things you cared about in 1992 ain't gonna be nothing you care about basically this time around the block. So it was just made for a very interesting time. So, well, that was basically it. I mean, Twista responded back with the song. He had Suicide, had Dedicated to the Streets, had Dissing These Fools. You might can find them on YouTube. I haven't heard those songs in years. But in Chicago, that was it. But see, dedicated to the streets is like, this is our ticket into the game. And you can't diss your way in. You know, and nowadays, you know, that's what you do. You could just make a diss record and you pop it. But at that time, you had to have some songs. And they tried to do their songs, but their most popular song was dissing these fools, talking about Naughty by Nature. So they were dissing their way to the top. So every time they opened up, they played the interview with Tretch, and then they come out and follow it up with the song. So people who didn't even know what was going on, like fans in the city, they was riding. Like, yeah, we riding. They dissed us. But overall, that's basically it. I mean, the thing just fizzled out. It's one of those things that both people lost interest, because basically dedicated to the streets. I don't know what happened with them. Twista ended up changing his whole style eventually again anyway, so none of that even mattered, and the rest is ancient history. I'm out.